In a whole lot of ways, the state of Michigan was integral to the 2020 election and also to Trump's big lie. Those two are related. The ex-president targeted that state as a part of his ploy to subvert the election, from his attempts to pressure, remember, the Michigan Election Board, to sending Rudy Giuliani to the state to make the case the election was stolen in that wild and bizarre hearing. Ultimately, President Joe Biden beat Trump in Michigan by nearly 3%. Like, he won that state pretty handily, actually, given how close some of the other states were. Well, now, 19 months later, we are learning that Michigan State Police have warrants to seize voting machines, along with records related to the 2020 election from several municipalities. According to Reuters, the warrants stem from, quote, the largest known investigation into unauthorized attempts by allies of former President Donald Trump to access voting systems.
So as was pointed out in this interview, one of the most common tactics the Republican Party takes is to dismantle faith around institutions of all kinds. So this goes beyond, voting machines or election integrity around the process itself, or, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Education Department. It extends deeply into pretty much any institution within government. We know they install people who are fundamentally against the organizations so that they can make them not work, point out and be like, oh, look, see, it's not working. See, it's just a big waste of money. We know that this is one of the most common tactics that the Republican Party takes. But also the whole thing about faith around the election integrity, that was something that was completely created by Republican pundits as well. The biggest reason why Republican voters, are having doubts around election integrity is because you keep telling everybody that there's something up with it.
The concern is this is post-election, right? This is not anyone going in, changing votes or hacking the machines. This is an attempt by people sympathetic to the big lie or believed it or who were pursuing it for whatever reason to get into the machines to find some smoking gun evidence that it had been stolen from Donald Trump. Is that right?
Exactly. And the important thing is that we know after hundreds of audits in our state and local risk limiting audits, that there is no evidence. We have full confidence in the results of our elections.
And as we went over last week, the report from Politico put out that the Republican Party is installing, far right-wing activists all over the country who are going to be closely connected to friendly GOP-friendly district attorneys so that they can create chaos in the election cycle and, arbitrarily do recounts and, sneak a little extra counts in there or take their time with this, set up lawsuits for this, basically just create even more confusion and even more doubt around the integrity of our election cycle. Even though it was shown and proven through stats and evidence that the 2020 election cycle was one of the safest that we've ever had, was one of the most secure that we've ever had, it doesn't matter. Moving forward, they're going to continue to do everything they can to dismantle faith in our electoral process. So at the end of the day, there's a very, very simple way that we can combat that. And that simple way to combat this is to just outvote them, outvote these people, show up to the polls more, get more involved in our communities, become better leaders. Because at the end of the day, the far right in this country, they have nothing that they're truly fighting for that really means anything. We're the ones who are fighting for better wages. We're the ones who are fighting for just more tolerance in our society. We're the ones who are fighting for our ability to have a more updated education system that can truly propel us into the future. We're the ones who want a better infrastructure system. We're the ones who want, us to not be going bankrupt due to medical bills. We want to not only modernize our society, but bring it into the future so that we, can actually be what we always claim to be, which is number one. That's the reality of it. So while they're doing everything they can to, create confusion around the election process, at the end of the day, what we have to do is more than them. Vote more, run your favorite candidates more, and be better leaders in our own community.